Great to be in the room.
Pleasure to be here.
It's Spindly, Timbly, Wimbly.
And your boy, Flash.
Let's get that door shut, shall we, while you were getting set up and ready and whatnot. Is it okay? Is it cool with you, Guy?
No worries from me, big boy.
Yes, bro. Just settling in to watch the film we know and love so well.
We are your friends for the first time in a week, roughly.
Oh, and I'm thrilled to see it. Here's the back of Zac Efron's head, just like it is every single week. I tell you what, this has truly been a tremendous adventure we've been on, and I can't wait to rip into this director's commentary with you all. Oh boy, I'm so excited. We've never quite gotten to the bottom of whether or not the squirrel imagery that's on the headphones and his laptop are foreshadowing to
I feel like
death.
we should really reverse Google image search them, because I think it must be a DJing brand that paid for a little bit of exposure.
Yeah, I know, but it's still too coincidental, even with that in mind, to not be a thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, do you feel that the character name Squirrel could have just been substituted to be Squirrel to kind of confuse
you think
people?
The chicken and the egg. So you think maybe the product placement came first and they named a character after that? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, maybe they specified in the contract that they carved out. They said we'll take X amount of dollars or whatever you're going to pay us in, Megan Oppenheimer and Maximum Joseph, and we'll also take a character being named after our product.
It's so good to be here. We've been through a lot together during the course of this podcast, and this is going to be the last director's commentary we do, and there's a tinge of sadness about it.
There's certainly a feeling, I think, that a page is being turned for the last time. And I got to tell you, Tim, it feels good for both of us at the same time to be turning this very heavy page.
Would you say that your dick is full of diamonds and your mouth is full of concrete on this turning of the page?
May it always be full of diamonds and concrete. Both. I've been mixing my metaphors. I've been putting concrete and diamonds in my mouth and concrete and diamonds in my dick. And I'm due a trip to the hospital.
I'll bet you are. Loads of 2 holes you don't want hard substances in.
You said it, man.
So, that beanie's pretty cool, eh? We don't talk enough about Johnny Depp's beanie, but it's pretty dope.
We don't talk a lot about Johnny Depp, full stop, and
yeah,
for good reason.
Well, I feel like we did pretty early on in the season.
Did your parents ever teach you, or where do you think you picked up the wisdom? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Absolutely, my dad.
And do you feel that, through the medium of this podcast, we abide that tenet?
Yeah, I guess not. Which just goes to show we didn't listen to our parents too good. Huh?
And your parents don't know everything. When did you realize that your parents weren't these sort of computer programmed people who knew right from wrong and were just fallible people like you and I?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact incident, but I'd have to have been about 9 years old.
That's pretty good. How
old do you reckon you were when you figured that one out?
I couldn't put a number on it, but I was sort of naturally, embarrassingly, my inclination was to respect authority until later than I would have liked. I would have liked to have been...
Like 23, 24?
Yeah, roughly.
That's when you figured out your parents were fallible?
Or just everyone was fallible. I thought everyone else had been getting everything perfect, and I'd been fumbling every opportunity, or not every opportunity, but making mistakes.
We're going deep early in this movie, aren't we, Guy? We're here to talk about the film, not your deep-seated insecurities, am I right?
You sure are, Tim. You sure are.
It's pretty amazing that they...
Does that say gig? I've always wondered.
We have never figured that out. What is tattoo?
Shahid's got 3 fingers, from his middle finger to his little finger on his right hand. And it either says jig.
And it's that kind of font that you often see in like gangster rap albums from the 90s.
Ye olde English text, I think, if you're on a Microsoft Word document.
But the other thing I was going to bring up is Squirrel's fringe having the blonde
tips.
Yeah, like Rogue.
Also, it's the same thing with Johnny Depp's facial hair. There are a few elements of it which are hit and miss in terms of continuity.
It's just crazy that on a, I mean, I know this wasn't a fully fledged blockbuster, but it's still a pretty wide release film that you would let the cast get away with that kind of shit. Because it's just like, what the fuck's going on here? Why is this hair different in this montage that's at the start of the film from later on? Like,
I almost feel like that some of that footage they shot there was maybe for use in like either not promotional material, but even in the pitching stages.
Yeah, but
a tonal reference piece they submitted.
Well, then if it's tonal reference, keep the tone when you make the film.
Well,
if his hair's like that,
what's more honest to tone than
change
the original idea?
What are you talking about? That's my point. if your tonal reference piece has a particular hair color in it, and they go, "Yep, we'll green like that," maybe don't change the hair color.
I think you can change the hair color, but I do think that they should make their mind up one way or the other. He's covering it there.
That went down the wrong hole. I actually don't mind Jahed's acting. I think he's pretty good.
You've been a Jahed
Enthusiast.
yeah, more or less since dot one. I've always found elements of his character traits quite jarring, funnily enough, frustrating.
Lol. But do you think he's a bad actor?
Nah, he's consistent through the film, and it's I think it's pretty good.
I would love to figure out where this was shot and go to this diner.
I think that Paige, he's quite a well-known actor. I think whoever plays Paige acts the pants off this film and kind of makes it difficult for anyone else to keep up with him throughout it. I'll say that.
Bold.
Well, at first,
you're totally right.
When we did the podcast, I was like, this is the best character in the movie. And then
Yeah.
it's like, maybe it's not a coincidence that the best character is also the best actor.
Yeah, well, a lot of people contacted us when we kind of got into about the 20th watch when they were like, okay, so we've looked up this movie you guys are watching, and that guy's very famous and a very well-known good actor. So, like, know your shit. And I still haven't bothered to learn either his back catalogue of films or his name. So apologies for that.
I've seen him in a few films. I think he was in The Accountant, which we saw together.
That was so funny. We went to LA, and Guy and I were like, you know what? We'll go see a film, just take our minds off the podcast for a bit. We're doing a bit of podcast business here. Everything's getting a bit full on. We'll go and take a break. Go and see a movie, and who's the fucking co-star but Paige Harrell?
Yeah.
It was nuts.
He was
We had
going
no
by
idea.
a different name then. And we did have no idea because we didn't know his name because we didn't do our research.
And the guy on the poster was Ben Affleck.
I've always thought that the music-making elements that are shown in this film, like him dragging an audio file that says techno,
Yeah, that's
have been
the
fucking
sample.
like they're pretty bad, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, just use Fruity Loops or something. They'll probably give you the right to use that for free, just for promo.
But to drag a file
Something.
called techno
Yeah.
across 2 inches like you're
It's
using
insane.
GarageBand.
The thing is as well, and I know this is a small point and there's way bigger fish to fry in this film, but like if you were trying to give the character the sort of context of being struggling, right? Like would he have a MacBook or do you reckon he'd have a cheap Windows laptop? Maybe he would still have a MacBook.
It's an old MacBook.
Creatives have MacBooks, don't they?
Yeah. And does GarageBand run on Windows?
No, sir. But you also, if you're a half self-respecting DJ, you don't use GarageBand to make your
No, you probably
beats.
use something called Ableton, I imagine.
Ableton Live or your bloody Serato.
Can you make music on Serato or just mix
No
music?
idea. I'm not a DJ.
No, neither am I. Anyway, these boys are scrubbing up. They're off to party for the first of many times in this film.
Also, don't mind the soundtrack. Don't love
So
it.
that's
Don't
another
mind
thing
it.
we haven't made a lot out of is, or we barely mentioned it because we barely talk about Johnny Depp, but he says later pop. It's just another one of the weird allusions in this film to
dads.
Or just like the relationship between the main characters and their parents.
No, but specifically dads. There's a lot of dad shit going on in this film, which is never... It really, I think, does probably speak to some shit going on with the writers of this film, Megan Oppenheimer and Max Joseph.
What I wouldn't give for an opportunity to get inside their heads and find out what they're like, what are they thinking, what was the filmmaking process
It's not
like.
going to happen. There was, Max Joseph did a Reddit AMA, and someone asked him, were you aware of these two jokers who are watching your film a bunch of times? Or like this podcast where they're doing it, and he said something to the effect of, I don't want to know about it. I don't want any part of it.
I think he said, I thought he said something like, yes, I'd rather not think, I don't know what to make.
He didn't
I don't
say
know what
he
to
knew
make
about
of that.
Yeah. It was like, I don't want to interface with that project.
And you know what I say?
You can make that longer, Guy. This is what I
No, I'm all good. Do you know what I say?
Oh, yep.
Fair or blood enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't want to touch us with a barge pole.
No, certainly not.
Remember back in the halcyon days of season 1 when we were like, I
Grown-ups
wonder if
too.
Adam Sandler knows we exist. To this day, probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Tell you what is true, Patty Schwartz still follows me on Twitter.
Does he really?
Yeah, I can slip that motherfucker a DM anytime I like.
That is fucking fantastic. God, that's good.
There were times when I sent him a message asking him if he wanted to be on a podcast.
Do you know probably the coolest thing that has ever happened from my frame of reference is the fact that like global superstar Lin-Manuel Miranda did a performance of Hamilton. Patty Schwartz went to it, and he freaked out when Patrick Schwarzenegger came backstage because he knew about him from our podcast. Did you not know that?
No, I had forgotten that. That's amazing.
I got shit-faced once. This is like a year and a half ago, and started DMing Lin-Manuel because he followed me on Twitter, and I was like, fuck it. One day this guy's going to unfollow me, and it'll be like that time when it'll be like that girl that got away, you know, that you didn't make your move and you forever regret it, which is another part of my psyche.
You were rat-faced and at the tip of his ascendancy. I
was like, dude, you're the dude. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was just like, tremendous. And you are tremendous. And we engaged in a little back and forward for a few messages, and he told me that. And I was like, boy, howdy. I could die tomorrow. Happy man.
That is incredible. From the horse's mouth.
Mm.
And that's not
I
to
could
say
show you the exchange.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is a horse, everybody. He's very much a human.
We want to correct that rumor that's been flying
to
around
all the people
internet.
who insist that he's a horse, has a horse ever written a smash hit on Broadway before?
Yeah, Cats.
Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote Cats.
He is very much a horse.
He is...
But it's what we're saying is it's just limited to Andrew Lloyd Webber. There are no other horses who are out there making musicals.
Is he really a horse?
Google it. You've picked up your phone. Complete the task.
No, that wasn't a Google whether or not Andrew Lloyd Webber's a horse. I remain pretty confident in the fact that he is not a horse.
Well, you know what? We'll never know. We asked and answered, as we say on the podcast.
Neither of those last two things you said are true, which I respect.
What is your opinion of coloured records, like the one that James Reed's flicking around?
I own a few.
Himself.
Like I own a Far Side record, which is like sort of half blotchy red and half blotchy blue, and I love it. I think it looks fantastic. I like them.
Far Side.
PHARCYDE.
Oh boy.
They're a West Coast hip hop group. I'm sure you would have heard of a few of their songs.
Yeah.
Runnin'.
I don't. Not off the title. That's
Drop. Those are their two best known songs.
Righto.
I'll play them for you sometime.
It sounds great. And
we'll catch up over a beer.
Fantastic way to spend the director's commentary of this film, We Are Your Friends, a true masterpiece of cinema.
What's your relationship to the movie like now, Tim?
It is frayed, is how I would describe it in one word. It's kind of like, this movie is a friend who isn't a friend. It's someone who insists on inserting themselves into my life who I'm never, ever happy to see, but I expect them constantly. You know what I mean? Someone who I'm not at the level to just kind of draw the emotional energy together to be able to go, dude, I fucking hate your guts and I never want to see or talk to you again.
If I'm not much mistaken, recently when you caught up with this friend, you said, hey, dude, I can't wait to see you an extra 8 times than is necessary.
I'm not talking about you in coded language. I'm not talking about
No, I know
mate
you're not
Guy
talking
Guy.
about me, but, you know, the framework of what you're describing, which is a friend that you don't really like.
Yeah.
You are someone who just looked this friend in the eyes and said...
That's bullshit. You're mixing two things together. What that was about, the penalty reflects that we committed a crime. And you need to pay
commit a crime.
penance for that.
It's too much penance for a crime that was barely committed.
The crime was that we left it a little too long between episodes, maybe a few days too long. So I penalised us with 8 additional
Constantly,
watches.
though. I was thinking today, do you know the first time we watched this film? It was during the New Zealand International Comedy Festival of 2016.
God,
and it was
like an age ago.
In the Monte Cristo rooms.
Excuse me, that's disgusting. Just a little burp on the microphone.
Didn't pick up any of it. You're in the clear.
We were running a pop-up comedy venue during the festival.
And we watched it in the bar area. Do you remember that? And that seems like, to me, in terms of...
two people from the audience went and had sex in the bathroom
That's
while we
right.
were doing the podcast.
Outside of the context of the
Not
podcast.
even while we were watching the movie, while we were delivering our comedy gold to about 30 people in a dungeon.
And said before that sort of back and forths, tete-a-tetes, get people a little hot under the collar. I think it's the fact that we both have these...
Speaking of, is there some way that we could get a little hot under the collar right now?
My friend, for you, yes.
Brilliant. Okay, very good. Can you also...
I'll turn the heater on to 100.
Thank you very much. Should we maybe flick the light on as well? Should we get some more light in the room?
Nah, we're good for light.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, I mean, fuck. Let me drill into this a little bit more, my current relationship with the film. have you got anyone in your life who is sort of a constant annoyance, but they're just about?
Not necessarily. There are people in your life who naturally colleagues or whoever who you
A mild
well, it's not
annoyance.
even. Yeah. You get along with it. You get along with everyone because life's easier that way. But
Totally.
as a general rule, if I had a relationship with someone in the real world like I do with this movie, Where Are Your Friends, I would do everything I could to get that person out of my life.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. So that's this film. Is like,
It's a friend
I
you haven't
know-
built up the courage to tell to
well,
go
they're not
away
a friend.
yet.
They're not. Realistically, it's not a friend. It's just a fucking. It's a person, isn't it? Who just thinks, it's an unbalanced relationship. This movie keeps running around to my place, going, "Oh, let's hang out again. Let's hang out again." I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, how much is enough?"
Never enough.
Well, according to me, you're right.
Exactly. I like this scene every time. Squirrel is making love to Sarah from the club, who seems to be quite a sexually confident and, I'll say it, very attractive woman. And when they're having sex, in reference to the fact his nickname is Squirrel, she says, "Where are those nuts, Squirrel?" Because squirrels hoard nuts in the winter. Or do they hoard them year-round? If anyone knows anything about this, surely it will be my friend who is well-versed in both bears and squirrels, Mr. Timbat.
Well, they say squirrels are the bears of the miniature world. And if there's one thing I know about bears, it's that they hibernate during the winter. So I imagine that their friendly mini friends, squirrels, are probably on a similar track. So during autumn or fall, when all of the nuts are falling down, they bundle them all up, they eat some, they put most of them in the bank. Then during winter, they fuck off to sleep for a whole season. And then when summer comes, they're just chowing down on a little, fruit
Sounds
basket.
right. For bears
Nut basket.
for bears to hibernate, they don't sort of store food, do they? They eat it and store it in their bodies. They don't store it in the pantry or anything.
That's right. Bears don't have a pantry, but squirrels do. There's probably something about like the scale of everything, like squirrels don't have enough mass to be able to put it away to sleep it up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like
yeah.
it works on a bigger beast, but with a squirrel, its frame is too small to store that much fat to be able to.
Surely.
Do you know
Bears are known for their
hibernation
bellies.
is fucking madness, huh?
Yeah. A bear goes away for months? Are you telling me?
That is fucking lunacy. My understanding is that they wake up occasionally, so it's not just a straight coma for 3 months. But they're spending 90% of their time asleep for a whole season. That is amazing.
Do you think that when they must surely their joints and their muscles would go crazy if they didn't? Do you think that they wake up that 10% of the time they're sort of doing stretching?
I reckon they probably are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what we do now, and we only sleep for about a third of the time that we're about. Third of the day. So it's about
quite a
right.
lot.
8 hours out of 24.
Cumulatively, for your entire life experience, to be asleep for a third of it seems like too much to miss.
Especially because
The other two-thirds...
my understanding is that we still don't really know what sleep's all about. A lot of theories out there, but no one's so sure. My theory, we want to get closer to the bears.
Really?
Yeah, want to become closer.
And do you think that
allies to
that's
them.
propaganda that's been planted by the bears, or do you think that's an idea that's naturally taken seed amongst humans?
I think it's biology. There's no propaganda in biology, man. It's nature. It's the indisputable truth.
Have you ever heard of a company called Big Biology? Look it up on Google, Tim.
Tell me about it. Tell me about big biology.
Pretty much it is a propaganda PR firm hired by the head of biology globally, Dr. Frank Lubinitz.
Famous, of course, for Lubinitz's theory of sleep.
Yeah, in which he says, sleep more to be like the bears, with very direct diagrams.
Yeah, weird dude. Strange how he got that position to be in charge of all of biology across the world.
It's weird how all the previous head biologists were maimed and killed by bears, hey?
It's very strange.
It's very mysterious.
Back to this film that we just happened to be watching. I mean, what can you say? I really wound up for a big bit of commentary on what was happening, and
I love that chair. I've always
nothing
loved
in
that.
the tank. Yeah, there's a chair
There's
that's in the
beautiful
foreground.
sort of 70s or maybe even earlier style chair in the foreground.
That's one of those
a
chairs.
weekly highlight.
It's one of those chairs that you would see in a furniture store, and you're like, "Fuck, that looks like a good chair," and it's got a price tag on it. It's $4,500 for the one chair. And you're like, who is buying this shit?
James Reed from the Feelers. Oh, man. I've really got very little to say about this movie. It's something that I've spent so much time in the company of that I am numb to
Do you even remember Grown Ups 2,
its
dude?
highs and lows. Yeah, I can put the pieces together. I'm getting flashbacks right now when I look into the distance. Mostly of Shaq stopping a full tire with David Spade inside of it with his dick.
It's so funny.
That's a funny gag. Like, you can see how when they said that gag out
I
loud.
don't think that was intentional at all, because he juts out his gut like it's going to stop on his stomach, which makes sense if he's a big man. It's kind of almost a fat joke, but it's just bad CGI that they kind of missed the proportions or whatever.
Nah,
It just goes to show how tall Shaq is. A normal tire would hit even a tall man in the gut, but Shaq's so tall it hits him in the dick because he's too
a
tall.
normal tire would not hit a regular-sized man in the gut.
It'd hit them even higher if you think of it. Like say a 6-foot dude, where would it hit you?
No, lower. Think of how high a car
maybe
is.
you're-
Like, it hit your knees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, so how does it...
Because it's like a tractor tire.
Where does the tire come off of?
It's
Oh,
just
it's just a
lying
random
around
tire,
the
isn't it?
mechanics. Yeah, these guys have got no respect.
No respect.
Would you rather spend time with the grown-ups or the fuckboys?
Ooh, top question. IRL? You mean like if the characters were real, who would I rather hang out with?
Yeah.
Fuck, that is a good question, dude. Are we throwing the gals in there or nah?
No, just the fellas.
Because if we're throwing the gals in there, it would definitely be the gals. I reckon that'd be a lot of fun to hang out with for an afternoon.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant that is entirely my error.
Oh.
You mean the Sex and the City gals?
Yeah, which gals did you think I was talking about?
I was thinking of all the female partner.
Oh yeah, no, we had a second season, dude.
Yeah, we had a whole 52 weeks of
Yeah.
Sex and the City too.
Yeah, we did.
Tell you what, I have been trying to bury that memory pretty fucking deep.
So, okay, who is it for you? Okay, my ranking. I'm gonna go first. The gals.
Yeah.
Then I reckon probably Sandler and the crew,
Yeah.
because or Lenny,
Lenny Fader and the boys.
Fader and the Fade Outs.
Lemonsoff, Mackenzie, Higgins.
Good on you, boo. That was a weird bro. But that's my order. What's yours?
I think I'd go with the grown-ups. This might just be because it's in the order I've spent the most time with them, but I'd go the grown-ups, then the gals, then the fuckboys.
Would you put the fellas ahead of the gals?
The grown-ups fellas?
Yeah. These guys aren't fellas. They're fuckboys.
Yeah, I think I would put but, they're all as bad as each other, actually, aren't they?
Incorrect. I mean, the thing with Sex and the City 2 is the setting and story and length were terrible. Oh, okay. We're doing another picture. But the characters are like, I would hang out with them. I mean, they've got a whole canon of TV show, which was pretty great to draw
That's
on.
true.
For us to know that they're three-dimensional and deep and conflicted and interesting and funny and you know.
That's very true.
But
I was not including the TV show as canon. I was
right. That's
as
a good way to do this.
As a purist, I was taking the experience entirely from the time I'd already spent with them.
If you
think about this as an
okay, hold on. Let me ask you this: do they Are they cool with me being there? All three groups. Like, if they kind of invited me in, are we sweet?
Nah, you're right on the cusp of acceptance. They're kind of like, okay, so I don't know why.
Then my answer changes.
It's like, I don't know why, but this guy's hanging out with us for the day. He might be cool. He might be a dick.
In that case, my order goes the fellas, probably then the fuck boys, and then the gals, which is a total, I think, flip.
You don't think that you, as you are, would be accepted by the gals?
Nah, man, definitely not.
Why not?
I'm in my late 20s. I'm a New Zealander. I'm just some weird dude. If they were like, oh, it's our friend Crazy Tim. We love him. He's great.
That's who you could be by the end of the hang. Back yourself.
I don't fancy my chances of taking that on unless it was forced by some sort of magical spell. And these guys, I think, would be fucking ruthless to a hanger-on. But the fellas are like, they're from the burbs, they're blue-collar workers.
They would find you a novelty.
Yeah, and they're used to making friends with just all walks of life,
Yeah. You could be their Schneider, dude.
I could be their Schneider. Precisely. I mean, Schneider didn't get a great time, but he had a place in there,
I was rewatching an interview where all of them were on Conan with Norm Macdonald.
That is fucking brutal. If that's the one I'm thinking of.
They're all, there's a lot of them on. There's Swartzen, Spade.
Yeah.
It's
all of them except for
Kevin James
and
Chris
Rock's
yeah.
not there.
It's the Heavy Madison crew, really.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. No, Kevin James isn't there in that
they're
one.
swapping anecdotes, and then Rob Schneider's almost had his hand up for the entirety of the video.
Oh my god.
Such is his enthusiasm to contribute.
It is painful to watch. and then they go to I think Conan generously is like, Rob, you got something to say? And then he tells the worst story anyone's ever heard.
Yeah.
Wasn't it about Sandler getting on a private jet or something? And it's just like, dude, no one gives a shit. This story is bad.
Yeah.
I told you, I think I have told you this. I met Schneider. I interviewed Rob Schneider.
How did it go?
It was fine. I think I talked to him a bit about this was fucking maybe before the podcast. It must have been. This must have been before the podcast kicked off. It was when I was at Hauraki, a radio station, which is now pronounced Hauraki. And Rob Schneider was touring down in New Zealand for some reason. I think I mainly talked to him about his Buddhism because I found it interesting. But then we cut all of that for the interview that went on here. There was the time I talked to Andrew WK. I ever tell you about that?
No.
Oh my
God. You're a huge Andrew WK fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I fucking used to love Andrew WK. I would, in my very, very early 20s, I just listen to Andrew WK and get fucking blitzed and then go into town on a Friday and Saturday. That's when I was working jobs that I hated, when I was at office jobs, and I was blowing off the most steam anyone had seen. And I was a fucking terror. I was an absolute terror. But I interviewed Andrew WK once, and the thing about him is there's this huge conspiracy theory online that he has been played by multiple people. He's this character. And I fucking quizzed him hard out about it and didn't get a straight answer out of him. And I've since come to at the time I was like, this is it. The dude is a fucking fraud. It's a character that multiple people have been. And I've come to the conclusion that they probably love people thinking it's a conspiracy theory because he's not that interesting a character. But with this interesting, dimension to it, more people get on board.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a really fucking stupid party rock dude.
And so, to this day, do you think it's good marketing, or do you believe it's conspiracy?
Probably both. I think it probably is a different dude, but it's who gives a shit?
It feeds itself.
Who gives a shit? And they're adding to the mystique of never admitting it, but dropping enough breadcrumbs that they're like, oh no, it's not, but it is. That just to keep people on the hook. No one gives a shit. Well, I don't, at least anymore. But they did a great job in creating just the right amount of intrigue.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know who Andrew WK was.
Till when? Now?
Till you brought it up. No, when you first revealed yourself as a huge fan of his.
Hey, do this. Press your headphones right against your ears. It's so good in this scene because this is all about the music.
Yeah, dog. And really look at the film and just say what you're feeling.
Just get in. Okay, I'm feeling adulation, excitement. I'm feeling happiness, joy. It's exciting. Yeah.
It's always good. Do you know what?
This
I don't
track
know
is the
that
shit.
that the actual visual accompaniment is always earned, but anytime that anything uses classic cartoons as an insert in its film or a TV show, whatever, I love it. I love that old style animation. I always find it satisfying. It always scratches an itch. I'm always like, yes.
Is it nostalgia buzz or is it beyond that? Is it
It's
the
beyond
aesthetics
that.
of
It's
it?
just the aesthetics and the idea of it, I think.
How do you say aesthetics? Because I've heard it being called aesthetics quite a lot recently.
those people, I think, are wrong.
Yeah, that's my gut feeling as well, man.
Yeah, dog.
Hey, back to the film. Sorry, everyone. Quick detour into Andrew WK land. We are at the party with the looking pool now at James
And
Reed's house.
To be honest, I noticed this about 10 weeks ago. I've never brought it up, but there are people all through that looking pool right now. I guess James Reed's turning, he's looking the other way. But
As the weeks go on.
Yeah.
No, but they're just dabbling their feet in, right? Are people actually swimming in there?
There's one
Pose for
torso,
a swimmer?
I believe.
Okay.
It's neither here nor there anyway.
Oh, look, we've
Details.
We've milked all the use we can out of the looking pool. Hey, do I have a beer on the run somewhere? Is that a thing?
That beer right there has got your name all over
Good
it.
on you, dude.
Truly a pleasure.
Do you know what I love? And Elsie, is that her name?
Yeah.
I've got this rat in the studio with me.
Handmade by Elsie.
Handmade by Elsie, who is, I think, a fan in Wellington who's a school teacher.
That's correct.
Who turned up to one of our live events in a self-made Brady the Rat King costume, which she had all these like hand-stitched rats on a coat. Fuck, man. That's what I love about this shit. People making things.
You gotta love that.
You gotta love that.
You'd be crazy not to. I think you gotta take a photo of us, buddy.
Is it time?
Yeah, it was before, but we didn't take a photo.
Oh, we got so caught up in our chitter-chatter. What we're doing, everyone, is we're chronicling for the online world. Each hour we're taking a little picky to show where we're at.
It's only fair, it would seem.
Where'd I put that bloody phone?
And in the film, Zac Efron is in James Reed from the Feelers studio, getting a pretty good nose in. It's actually sort of, if you think about it in terms of the movie, it's a real sort of, James Reed from the Feelers, it's a real back-rubbing moment for him. He's sort of saying to Zac Efron, hey, I reckon there could be something here. Come into my world. I'm going to try and mentor you, help you make music. And now he's offering opinions to Zac Efron, which is when you're really starting a professional relationship.
No, that photo's no
Be
good.
a huge breakthrough opportunity, I guess, in the world of the film for Zac Efron or Zaccoli. Yeah, I mean, it's not, I guess, when observed by itself, it's not necessarily bad filmmaking. They're getting the job done. They're telling us what's up. Tim's taking several photos with the flash on.
Nailed it.
They're fine.
I nailed it, everybody. Nailed it.
So, yeah, I think this scene does its job until then, when what James Reed from the Feelers is doing goes from being helpful to being quite reductive in the context of making a song. I know you got to be efficient for the sake of the movie, but I feel like it's similar to Zaccoli dragging around bars of music that say techno near the start of the film. It's kind of disrespecting the craft it's meant to be all about.
What hour are we in? 3?
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Sorry, everyone, for this admin that's bleeding onto the podcast.
Yeah, right.
People, we've done, I think, a pretty good job of hiding our admin in this whole 3-year journey we've taken with our audience. More or less.
Apart from when it goes horribly wrong and we must discuss it at length.
It's true. Com. Sorry, did you keep...
No, it's all good. Everyone's getting get set to get wet, as my friend Tim Batt would say, because everyone's getting in the pool. And
everyone understands that reference from a 90s ad about a water park that only exists in New Zealand. It's a good ad, though. It's really stuck with me,
It's just a good line. Do you know what always bothers me about this scene? So all of them except Zaccoli are wet from having jumped in the pool, and they'll just get in the car...
Sopping.
Yeah, they never discussed that they're going to leave Squirrel's car all wet and smelling damp for the next week.
It's just terrible, isn't it?
It's an outrage. I mean, I guess he lives in the desert. It'll dry out pretty fast. But still, everyone's drenched. It's a minor quibble, but a quibble all the same.
Quibble or quibble? Quibble.
Oh, look, man. If you start asking questions about words...
Ironically... What I've brought to the fray is whatever the thing is, a quibble. We'll say
I think it's a quibble. I've got no quibbles with you.
I have no qualm. I have no quarry with you. Quarry? Oh, look, let's not get caught up.
In the behind-the-scenes footage, when Zaccoli said that Squirrel is his character's best friend, I always thought, just because of living together, I guess, in my mind, I'd always assumed it's Jarhead. Do you know what I mean? I was assuming that of the group, those two had the closest relationship. Yeah.
I mean, It's interesting because it's like you've formed an opinion of this over the length of times you've been watching, but you must have known from the first watch that was in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
That was proven wrong.
But I've maintained it. And then that scene that we just see where Squirrel and Zaccoli share a joint down on the water and talk about their feelings or whatever the fuck Megan Oppenheimer and Maximum Joseph were trying to communicate at that point.
What were those assholes smoking, when they made this?
Man, I would love a word with them. If only there was some way we could get in touch.
I
But
tell you what. Hey, I think flick that light on, mate. It's probably at that time of the hour. Oh, God, that is a harsh light, isn't it?
Huge change.
It
in
is.
Tone.
Are you not into it?
No, it's okay. I'll survive.
Okay. So look, Somali, what to say about her? You know, what's she doing at the moment? Do you follow her online at all or anything like that?
No, sadly not.
That time it was for 50 minutes, not an hour. What are you up to?
We were 10 minutes late posting this one.
Good on you. Good math.
Yeah, I'm fast.
You sure are.
I'm a fast runner. And a good guy.
He's the Flash. That's why they call him that.
That's exactly what they call me.
It's a good backpack that Zac Efron's got in this film, eh? I'm in the market for a good double strap backpack at the moment because I've got one with one strap and I think it's given me quite a back injury because I loaded up with quite a lot of weight.
The old single strapper.
The old single strap really fucking me up because it's asymmetrical.
Yeah,
see.
you were telling me that actually.
Got some back pain.
I'm always two strapping.
Now, what I am concerned about is I've read recently online, I think just sort of, happenstance, people talking about getting older, getting into their 30s, and what they keep saying is the commonality is that they don't bounce back now. So, like, hey, guess what? You got to be preventative. If you've got back pain, you've got it now. There's no way to go backwards. So you've got to prevent getting back pain. And now I've got it, so I'm like, dang, maybe I've got back pain now.
You're 30.
29 currently.
I'm
I'm 30 in a month.
You can still.
What should I do for my birthday?
Get rid of your back
poker
pain.
party.
That's what you should do.
I reckon
Sleep on an
poker.
ergonomic mattress. If it's when you're 30, you've still got a month to correct this back pain.
I bought one of them fancy. Well, I didn't. My fiance bought one of them fancy mattresses that comes in a cardboard box.
That's a double brag for everyone at home. Fiance and fancy mattress.
I was kind of using fancy mattress ironically because it's way cheaper than a normal mattress. Is that there's like a million companies making them now. It's like Casper and all that. You know they come in a cardboard box.
Casper.
Have you ever listened to a podcast in the last year? Casper's everywhere, buddy.
I have not listened to a podcast for a long time.
There's a bunch of these. Yeah, you know what? Who cares? This movie's still going.
I care. What's Casper?
It's a fucking. It's
I
a
know,
company
but
with
if
these
everyone else
beds.
already knows, then don't.
It's a company that make these beds, but there's a lot of different companies making the same sort of bed.
It's a good name for a bed company.
It's like what's happened is we've figured out a new way to make beds, and now all these different companies have popped up to bank on it, and it's memory foam. They deliver it to your door, and it's a bit cheaper than a normal in a sprung mattress, but it's comfy as fuck.
I can see why that company's going off.
There's a lot of companies. That's the thing. It's like one technology. It's like light bulbs, right? Someone invents a light bulb. Suddenly you got Philips and fucking whoever else making light bulbs. Who else makes light bulbs? Panasonic. I don't know.
Suzuki,
Sony,
Dell,
Yamaha,
all your main companies. I only use Dell light bulbs.
BMW for me.
Man, they've got wheatgrass in this movie. We never talk about that.
Never have I seen it before. Is that definitely wheatgrass that
I
is grown
reckon.
there?
I notice it every week.
It's the kind of bonehead thing you'd have in an office like this.
They've got wheatgrass and a bar of gold in this scene.
Fuck, bro. Imagine... Fuck, bro. Okay,
Real paint-by-numbers
Joseph.
approach to character detail. Yeah, they'll be cool. They'll have gold and wheatgrass.
Max Joseph, as far as I know, has got Catfish and that's it, right? In terms of hits.
I think he's popular online.
By virtue of his success with Catfish, right? Because it's like a show about online behavior.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
don't even fucking know what Catfish is actually about. I think I saw the movie when it came out years and years ago.
It's about to catfish someone, you create a false person online and you lure them into some sort of relationship or...
And so the show is them kind of peeling back by visiting them in the real world and being like, hey, that hot 18-year-old girl from California is actually a 45-year-old male who lives down your street who you've been communicating with online.
Is it? I thought that they created the characters themselves and then they'd show up and it was like a really dark vision of punks and they'd be like,
God, that would be
hey,
so
that
funny.
person you've just been talking to,
Are you serious?
that was us, you fucking idiot.
Did you think that's what it was? Because I would love it if that's what you
Nah,
thought
that's
it
not what I
was.
thought.
Oh, just let me live in that reality.
You can. It's a funny idea.
The irony
just
is,
so ruthless.
I want you to catfish me by letting me be strung along with a fantasy of what you think catfish
Man,
is.
this is Maximum Joseph's world. We're all just living in it.
Ain't it the fucking truth, dude?
Yeah, dog.
Tell you what, if there's any more of that stuff, one more stuff, please. We are in a scene that is just getting me in the mood to party. We're in a nightclub where there are all manner of people. It's a real cross-section of society. We've got... Actually, it was weird. Someone brought up once, a fan, got in touch with us and said, you guys have never brought up this moment in the film where Zuccoli encounters a transvestite in the club and has a disgusted look on his face. I'm going to say, whoever you are sending us that message, I think you're being a little oversensitive, because that awesomely dressed transvestite person who's at the club, who is just fucking dynamite threads, there's not a lot of attention paid to. They feature on screen. I'm not even sure that we see Zuccoli's face afterwards, to be honest with you. And as someone who's seen the film 40-something times, I feel like I'm speaking with experience when I say they're not drawing a big line under that. Jesus Christ. Under that person. Are you alright, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Have we broken a chair or are we cool? Hey, I tell you what,
I like
though,
to think we're cool.
these chairs, I got these 2 chairs and that really comfy couch for $50.
I remember when you made that purchase. I
It
was
had
happy for you
fleas.
then. I'm happy for you now.
Had fleas.
Yeah, the clouch, as
But
I
I
call it,
destroyed all
was
the
a
fleas.
liability. I call it a clouch because the L stood for liability.
All the fleas are gone now because I bombed the fuck out of them.
Man,
wanna do the
it's
same
a
with the
shame
ants
that's the only way to kill fleas.
Just bomb them.
Yeah. It's called a flea bomb.
Yes, it is. This guy knows it.
Fuck. That's always been the worst anecdote. Hey, fuck you,
The
James
water
Reed from the
fountains.
Feelers. Yeah. The fountains debacle. It's either a bad anecdote or a bad bit of script writing, but either way, someone should be crucified. That is a good bit of fucking detail, though.
There's a shot of... They really pay attention to people calling people on Zach's phone, eh? So Coley gets a phone call and fuck, it pains me we never find out what the subject matter of the call is, but he gets a call from Jarhead and it comes up with his caller ID where there's a photo of Jarhead pulling the fingers to him. And actually now, whenever Guy Montgomery, the man to my right, calls me, I got the same photo of him and now it comes up with him pulling
Am I
the
pulling
fingers.
the fingers every time I call you?
Oh, not anymore actually, because I had to get my phone repaired because I've fucked up the screen at a bachelor party, but...
So now what am I doing?
Nothing. It's all wiped. It's all factory default. But let's recreate that photo. Let's get that back in the mix.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Let's do it. Fucking hell. What in terms of, we've seen this movie a lot of times, what do you think the moral is supposed to be? Like, what do you think they were intending it as?
This is Maximum Joseph's Fountainhead by Ayn Rand.
Sorry.
Follow
a book
your
you've
dream.
read recently.
I've
never read it.
Not recently. I read it ages ago.
You read it like a year ago, right? That's recent.
No, that would have been maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Excuse me.
Pretty much, it's just saying, hey, just do you. Capitalism rules. And that's what Maximum Joseph is trying to communicate here. Like, none of that, there's no real, apart from squirrel dying, which none of them seem to be affected by, there's no real consequence for anyone's actions
You're
in this
fucking
movie.
wrong. The moral of this whole film is supposed to be like, follow your dreams and be steadfast in following them.
That's the same thing as
Every fucking movie ever.
and Ayn Rand's The
Oh, right.
Fountainhead.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Only it
okay.
doesn't get as heavy hand. Film doesn't get so self-righteous, but pretty much it's like, hey, other people are going to fall by the wayside, but you do you. It's bad news. Like, what does Zuccoli learn? What the fuck does he learn? He fucks up his friend and mentor's relationship.
Yeah. He commits a hate crime right
Yeah,
now
he
by
commits a hate
punching a
crime.
guy after insinuating that he's gay.
Like, he just fucks everyone
It's
over
like,
at
hey,
the company he works for.
Do you know how you deal with misogynists? Accuse them of being gay and then punch them in the face.
Yeah, dude. Way to be woke. But there's, there's no consequence. He's a bad guy in this film, but because of how good looking, I guess, Zaysfron is,
Gets away with it with those
he
pretty
gets away
eyes.
with it.
They are pretty eyes, though. Give them that. I'll give them one.
And
And
worse
that.
yet, they haven't even bothered to make
The one I give them,
Somali.
pretty eyes.
They haven't bothered to make Somali good or bad.
She's kind of ambivalent, isn't she? It would, well, I don't know. Nah, she's good.
Yeah?
I think so. I was going to say it would be way more fun if they made her a villain, but in actual fact it wouldn't, because then it's just a movie with like 6 dudes who are terrible, but presented as heroes, and the one female is a villain. So at least with ambivalence, it's kind of a more complete character in some ways. Do you feel what I'm putting down?
I mean,
People are complex. They're not heroes or villains in the real world.
Yes, but I would argue that Somali is not a complex character. I don't know what
How
I don't know what her motivations are at all. What does she want out of this movie?
Fucking good. Fair play to you, man. Well, she goes back to school eventually. I feel like
we don't even know what she's fucking studying.
No. That's... Whoa. You have dropped an anvil on me, dude. We've seen this movie a number of times. And if I had to say that number out loud, 45 sounds right.
It's more, I reckon.
I think it's 46, maybe.
Maybe more than that still.
But we've never, ever, I don't think, talked about what does she want to learn. Like, what does she go back to school for?
Much in the same way, the screenwriters and creators of this film, Megan Oppenheimer and Maximum Joseph, have glossed over such sort of
Try and dig into it.
details. So have we. I
reckon law, and I don't know what I'm basing that on.
it's not a bad guess. People like learning about the law, even when they don't know what they want to do with their lives. They go and study law.
And the clues that we've got are she is like a PA, so there's a lot of kind of technical paperworky stuff.
Yeah.
And she seems like the kind of person who's in charge of doing the contractual obligations.
I like that.
James
I like
Reed's
that detail.
touring, you know, and that kind of lends itself to a technical, legal...
Someone with an ability to be persuasive.
Yeah, either that or she's going to university to be hot.
You don't need a degree for that, my friend.
I was trying to think of a gag to undercut the serious tone I'd indulged in, but I wasn't impressed with how I
thought you did pretty good. All right, let's go to a music festival in Las Vegas, Nevada.
You ever been to Nevada?
Nah, I've got no real desire to go there. I don't think it's for me.
Oh, man, I love gambling. That's why I could never go to Las Vegas.
Is that how much you love gambling, that you wouldn't take yourself to Las Vegas?
Absolutely. Though, my brother's been to Las Vegas, and he said it's fucking fun, just in terms of like an entertainment destination, because there's so many shows and stuff on.
Yeah. I would love to go and catch Celine Dion in the 37th year of her 25-year contract to perform music in Las Vegas.
Is she still going?
I would imagine so. She's surprisingly young.
Celine Dion?
Yeah. Well,
is she?
Yeah, because of how...
Do you know Cher's mum is still alive?
Yeah, you told me that the other day.
It shocked me to my core, because I think I started following Cher on Twitter after she tweeted something real funny about Donald Trump. I was like, this is the what do they call it? The medium is the message. Like, this is funny because it's coming from Cher. The message itself isn't inherently funny, but the fact that it's coming from Cher is hilarious to me. So then I started following her, and it turns out her dear old mum, who's in her mid-90s, still going. Tremendous.
Ain't that something?
Anyway, sorry, I think you were saying something pertinent.
Nah, I highly doubt that.
Oh.
I have quite often found this scene passable at worst. I think that they do a pretty good job. Well, they're just so good looking. And the notion of these two good-looking people being on drugs,
yes,
and getting excited that they're going to hook up with each other, you know, they represent it pretty accurately. You can see them right now getting boners, respectively, kissing on the mouth.
It's a good kiss.
Powerful kiss.
It's a good, passionate kiss.
And now they're about to go and run around, which is what everyone does.
I don't like the headbandy thing, eh?
Oh, it's neither here nor there, man. I don't like that he's wearing a singlet that says LA on it when he's in Las Vegas. I find it infuriating.
I don't like his necklace. It's kind of a cool typeface, though.
What else is going on here?
Oh, look, we got billboards. We got LED lights. We got a big old Ferris wheel lit up at night. We've got... what the fuck is this thing? It's like a monorail?
No,
like an indoor monorail
like
thing?
Gondola, or not a Ferris wheel sort of gondola, like the London Eye.
But it looks
that a big Ferris wheel?
Oh, is that fuck? In my head, you're totally right, man. That's a Ferris wheel you're on. In my head, it was more like a transportation thing, like
a monorail,
like halfway between a monorail and a gondola.
That'd be a pretty funny thing to do.
A gondarail.
Hey, we're really high on drugs in Las Vegas. Let's go get on the monorail.
Fuck yeah. an homage to the Simpsons
yeah.
episode, written by Conan O'Brien and starring Phil Hartman, R.I.P.
Yeah, long may he R.I.P.
Okay.
I don't know if that...
Long may he not be reanimated into this mortal coil.
Yeah, stop reanimating people from the dead. It's crazy stuff.
I'm looking at you, whoever brought back Walt Disney. God damn. So
I know, we're really up against it here.
we're doing some dancing is what we're doing now.
This
The
is
Christmas tree thing we never got to the bottom of, huh? There's two of
for
them.
both of these characters to suggest that they have financial problems and then to rent the most expensive hotel room that has a grand piano in the corner has always been confusing to me. It just feels inconsistent in the story. Like, commit to the details.
They're in the honeymoon suite for sure, eh? Or maybe it's just a fancy hotel.
And do they have sex
You know
right
the
now?
old saying.
Riddle me this, Tim.
You know the old
At
saying,
what point
guy,
do you
hold
think
on.
that they're having sex? This is more important.
All right, fair enough. Okay, I'm looking for it.
He's
I
still wearing
actually-
his jeans as
It's
far as we know.
That's
He's
the
never
most-
taken his jeans off.
You have to be showing everything.
You don't.
You
just
are
have
the
to see him
reason
take his jeans
Guy
off.
Montgomery, everyone listening. I'm not even
As far
talking
as
to him
I know,
anymore.
he's still sleeping in his jeans right now.
I'm not even talking to him anymore. I'm talking to you, listener. Guy Montgomery is the reason bad movies get made. Where we have to be led along the garden path, hand in hand, showing every single thing on
that
film.
is wrong.
Every single conclusion wrapped up for us neatly because we can't do the goddamn mental arithmetic ourselves.
What
to get from
maths is
point
there
A
to
B.
do?
They're in fucking bed together. She's digging her nails
They're
into
on
his
bed
back.
together. He was shirtless the whole time. He was wearing his jeans the whole time as well.
Well, then let me get an old one out of the closet and dust it off, Guy Montgomery, because you are a real piece of shit.
Yeah, I sure am. But you got to do something to pass the time.
Well, ain't that the truth? There's one thing this podcast has taught me. The sands of time, they will keep falling no matter what's happening around you. Doesn't matter if you're watching a film or if you're not. Time is the constant.
Time is in all of us.
Mm.
Letting the days go by.
What song is that?
I don't know. It's something about the Talking Heads. It's a
Oh,
good
yeah, I
song.
know the song. Yeah.
Yeah, you like it.
That's their, biggest song, isn't it?
Might be. Could be. Should be.
And it was used in their campaign for a shortly lived New Zealand TV series, I think based on two people being in purgatory, maybe?
How did a project about two people being purgatory
I think
get
I
over
made
the
that-
line?
I
Yeah,
think
you
I made
gotta
that
have made
up.
that up.
I think I made
That's
that
crazy talk to me.
up. Oh, boy.
Do you wear the dressing gown when you're in the hotel room?
I don't.
No?
I can tell you that from recent experience. I was in Portland, Oregon a couple of weeks, like a week and a half ago, something like that. Great hotel room there.
Yeah?
I was at the Hotel Deluxe.
All
tell you
right.
that for free.
Shout out to those guys.
They upgraded my room because no one's there at the moment. I was fucking stoked.
Hey, man, we're really up against it, so...
And there was a lovely looking. I just other people have worn it. You know, I'm not. I don't need that.
I never think about that. I think about how cool
Oh,
it
do you put
feels.
it on?
Yeah, I walk around in it.
Are you a dude? Are you a dressing gown dude?
Not in the house.
Oh, you leave to. Wait, what's your vibe? Where are you coming from?
I only wear dressing gowns in hotel rooms. If they have a dressing gown, you better believe I'll be wearing it.
Gotcha.
I'll be walking around, role-playing.
What kind of roleplay, dude?
Yeah, close the deal. We'll sell it for $1 million.
I love it. Do you have a big old cigar in your mouth and a very old Motorola that's got a flip out and an antenna you need to pluck and raise up from the phone?
I have a very, very large cigar in my mouth, and I carry a rotary telephone.
You gave me those photos of Spider-Man on my desk by the morning.
Exactly that.
That's the guy. That's you.
Yeah. That's what I'm like in hotels. On the street, pretty regular, respectable guy.
Do you reckon that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Clark Kent, Superman, would ever get together because they're both journalists in the print field, which is a dying medium now?
I think the idea of them being at the same media conference or gathering of the press at the same time, I think that is highly likely. Whether or not they ran into each other, I don't know. Not for me to say.
One's Marvel and one's DC. That's the problem. So it's hard to get those.
Very
cats
difficult to get them in the same room.
But it's not unheard of. There's Marvel DC crossovers, especially in the video game world. But more to the point, I've got a new question for you. How do you reckon Superman gets drunk?
No. I think he might get a buzz on. I don't think he ever gets drunk. I think he could put away like an infinite amount of human beers.
Like 1,000 beers and he'd be a tippled.
And he'd be like, he'd be having a good time. If he drank 1,000 beers, maybe, but I think he could drink like 24 beers on a night out and still be good to go.
Yeah, but some humans can do that. Not like good to go, but some people can do that. Scottish people mainly.
Okay,
boy, they're good drinkers.
Increase the number, 50 beers.
Even more, I reckon. This is the guy who could fly against our gravity. He could drink like 500 of our beers.
Yeah, but he'd be drawing attention to himself at that point.
That's absolutely true. And I think exactly what he wants. Wouldn't it be good if you're a superhero spending all your time, doing unfun stuff, to just like go to a bar and pound piss and impress everyone with your piss drinking abilities? Can I have 500 beers, please? Does everyone want to gather around and watch me drink them? Because I would do it. And then I'll melt all the bottles with my laser vision, which I also possess. You plebs. I'm going to kill all of you with a punch.
You are about 4 plot details away from getting a contract to write the new Superman flick.
Oh, I've just described the plot of that one that Will Smith was in.
Hancock.
Yeah, exactly. I think. I can't even remember if I saw it.
He's going to be the genie in Aladdin.
Yeah, I heard. That's cool, man. Do you reckon Will Smith's had work done? Because I've been seeing him recently and I'm like, your face.
Man.
Your face.
I haven't seen anything with Will Smith involved in it for ages.
Yeah, fair cool. What about Suicide Squad?
Didn't see it.
Fair enough.
Not for me. Tanya Romero's really up against it now. She can't afford to pay off the mortgage on her house. And now Zace is about to discover that the company he's working for, Gold Star Realty Solutions, should actually be called Gold Star Realty. Fuck you. We're about to destroy your life. Because that would be a more accurate representation of what the company does.
You can't always put your name on the tin like that. It doesn't always work.
No, it's marketing 101.
Yep.
But his reaction to this is not to do anything apart from feel bad until he puts the money in his shoebox. Is that not wrong?
What are you talking about?
His reaction to this, the fact that the company he works for is not a good company. It's not really. It's just. It's not anything. It's just like, oh well.
No, he feels terrible. Look at him. His ass darting all around the room, and he says, "Yeah, Paige, surely we can do something." Oh fuck! How do I not know the script of this film by now?
Because we can't interface.
But that was always true. It was true of the other two, and I mean, I got pretty fucking confident with Grown Ups too, to the point where we put a script together that vaguely resembled the finished product. But this movie.
Right here?
This film. Too hard. You see
there
the
are
chandelier?
Certain details you remember. I think if we really put I reckon if we really put our minds to it, we could put together like more or less sequence of events.
What an amazing use of our talents, eh?
Well,
what a phenomenal conclusion to putting together the collective genius of Tim Batt and Guy Montgomery.
You got to have something to work towards. It's all about deadlines.
And fusion.
I still don't know how he earned $15,000 from being in that room.
Okay, so
hush money.
What do we know? Let's do the math. He reckons he's going to get, what did he say, $350,000, I think, for the house? What did he pay for it, like 40 grand?
Yeah, not a lot.
So that's, you can telescope it out, man. I can't. At the bottom, it'll go longer. Let the ground do the work for you. Guy, okay.
Dude.
Let me explain something.
Dude, I'm good to go.
Guy's microphone is on a stick. He has generously and selflessly agreed to hold the stick the whole time because I was struggling to figure out how to make it work otherwise when we were setting up. But the thing is, he's doing the hard work. We could make the stick longer.
I like doing the work.
Because it's like it's a monopod.
I like rolling my sleeves up. Getting down in the trenches.
It just blows my mind.
Hey, man.
We've been here for hours just watching this film.
We've only been here for as long as the movie's been going, which is barely 45 minutes at this point.
Well, let's pretend that that's true for a second. That's still a long time to hold a stick to your mouth.
Hey, it's been on the ground for a while. Life's all about balance.
Ain't
Who
it
do
just?
you like the best in this movie?
The backpack. I told you.
You like the backpack.
Fuck yes. It's good looking. It's functional. It's helping. Can't say that for a lot of the characters in this movie.
Which backpack?
Zac Efron's.
When did you tell me that? Many times before.
I don't know. I thought it was this watch.
Maybe
It's
you
all
did.
starting to. It's all starting to. Blend into one. Fucking. I'll tell you what though. I do enjoy this moment every week.
I love that how quickly he cuts both sides of that cake.
Sorry-
That will always tickle me.
Sorry, everyone. To fill you in, what's happened is James Reed from The Fearless and Somali have come home from James Reed's birthday celebrations, presumably at a highfalutin LA restaurant where Somali, I assume, has booked months in advance. They've gone out for a lovely dinner. They've come home. He's a bit chopped, and then he's just fucking shooting his mouth off about what poor service he's received, and then like is railing, and then goes into the fridge, and there's this gorgeous birthday cake there, and he's like, I've been a bit of a dick, and Somali's put all this work into trying to make my birthday,
Yeah.
a success, and he's like, I know, this is his internal monologue, folks. I know how I'll rescue this. I'll be fucking into this cake. So he just fucking hoses it. He cuts himself a slice. He grabs it with his hands. He just starts eating it. He gives a bit to Zaccoli. Zaccoli's all over that shit. It's like it's Cake Fest. Fuck Summerfest.
It's cake,
Cake Fest is the shit, and I love it every week. I love the twists and turns.
It is. You're not wrong. It is an oft enjoyable moment to see them cake in hand. And I tell you, Alice Snedden, I think, was the one who really tipped me off to it. She laughed herself pink when they ate cake from the hand when we watched it with her.
Why?
Because she's like, why are they eating? She found it disgusting.
Oh, that's the hilarity. Absolutely.
I remember defending it at the time.
I'm sure you did.
I could see how they felt. Man, the movie's really struggling along now, so they do rightfully insert quite a large amount of conflict. And it's about time that they address some of the simmering tension. Or lack of, but do something to generate tension. You can't just have these bad people plodding along getting their way. Something has to come in their way. And it does, in the form of one of them having maybe had sex with one of their partners.
This movie's fucking crazy, isn't it? When you get into it, isn't it crazy, dude?
Yeah. I look forward to 50 years from now, people watching this movie as an obscure piece of pop culture and just being like, what was really...
No one, and I mean this hand on heart, no one will be watching this film in 50 years. Not a single human. Not one.
That can't be true.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go back 50 years from now. What is it, 2017?
267.
What's that, 77? Or is it 67? 77.
67. 77.
Oh. 67.
Yeah, boy, I got it. Boys had a head for sums.
So what...
Just ask my father.
What
Stephen.
What movie...
Don't ask him.
from the mid-60s have you been watching?
I don't know.
I haven't even watched the hits, let alone the misses.
But you will have watched weird movies from every era that you might not necessarily remember.
Nah, dude, I'm exclusively a blockbuster kind of dude. It's just the podcast and solid gold hits.
Is that true?
I mean, kind of, in a way, unless they're sort of, genre pieces that are successful in their genre. But I won't seek out a movie that's failed, which is what this one did. You know what I'm saying?
Good movies fail though, and rise to be
Oh,
successful.
The Room actually is probably an example, but that I would call that a genre film.
It is.
The genre is bad films, but it's very good in its genre.
Bad films as a genre is very popular. For
Yeah,
what
it
its
is.
title is,
God,
people are surprisingly into it.
it's because we've just gone so far inside of our own assholes because we haven't had a world war in long enough that we now
Oh.
celebrate only two things that are ironically. Do you say ironically bad or ironically good? Like if you were describing The Room, ironically bad.
Yeah.
It is bad, ironically.
You
Or it's
watch
like
it-
ironically enjoyable.
You watch it ironically, yeah.
Ironically enjoyable and nostalgia. And I tell you what, there's no way to live. There's no way to create art. It's unsustainable. It's gross. We need more earnestness.
Do you
know how you get more earnestness? World War. Bring it.
Gee
Come on, North
whiz,
Korea.
It
Your
feels
move.
like a very, very grand sort of way to,
Yeah,
cultivate earnestness.
2 to 10 right there.
Yeah.
And a step.
That's intense.
Can I just immediately, and I don't often do this on the podcast, immediately retract and apologize for the comments I made moments ago. It's been a long day,
Yeah.
and it's probably going to get even longer.
It definitely is, because this movie will keep going. And so will we, in
Ain't
some
it the
way,
truth?
shape, or form.
Ain't it the truth?
What do you think about this scene?
Well, here's what I think, Guy. They're in a sushi bar, all 4 of them. 2 of them get up to pursue a romantic interest on a whim, and it doesn't go anywhere. And I always want to meet the girls that they're chasing. I want to see how the interaction goes down. I'm so interested by what possibility the film has opened, and they never fucking deliver on it. Instead, we get this half-baked pseudo-philosophical chat from a fucking burnout DJ who's just been punched up by his former mentor that he had sex with the girlfriend of, and Squirrel,
Maybe.
a barely fleshed-out character who we found out went to university from a fucking behind-the-scenes press junket interview with an entertainment channel. I mean, for Christ's sake, this scene shouldn't be in the film, but if it is going to be in the film, the cameras are on the wrong 2 characters. We should be right now staring at Johnny Depp and fucking Jarhead either striking out or successfully chatting up 2 beautiful women in the valley at a sushi restaurant. But I'm just looking at 2 assholes who I've seen for the last 45 weeks unsuccessfully try and pull off some kind of deep and meaningful.
Oh, that was so articulate. You surprised, I'm sure, even yourself.
I don't even know.
And I got to tell you, I couldn't have asked for a more honest response to what was a pretty simple question. Couldn't agree more.
Hey, so this is always fun. The house.
Yeah, I always enjoy this for the idea that Jarhead is truly losing his mind at this point in the film.
His lines
not-
are delivered spectacularly well.
Yeah.
Like, what do you give a man who has everything? Pulls back a mirror. Just more of that, man. That's fucking dope.
It's good also because it's interesting in the question, is Jarhead the character? Has he prepared these lines for each room he shows his friends? Or is he improvising
He's
the
flowing.
lines at
he
the
is
moment?
in flow. As a performance artist, that man is in flow right now. He isn't even aware of what he's doing. It's too genius.
So he doesn't.
What are the other things? He just walks into a room, bangs on some of the drywall, and goes, "Cole, this could be your studio. Sunproof the walls." Wide-eyed, we cut to another room. It's brilliant. And this party's fun as well. It does drag me along just by virtue of someone else's hard work, which is the people who put together this track.
Yeah.
They're riding on the coattails.
It's a pretty common trope that they use in the movie Where Are
Yeah.
Your Friends?
It's like, oh, we need people.
Play
We
a
need
banging hot track.
we need the film audience to film something. I know. We'll cash in on the hard work of a different artist. Musicians.
And why wouldn't you? I tell you what, though, I am dancing along right now.
Yeah. It's good every week. But it's nothing to do with what the film's done, I don't think. It's just the song's a banger.
And also, they give like the subtlest of hints here. I didn't pick it up the first time I watched it, but Squirrel kind of is pestering Johnny Depp quite a lot through the movie for this party scene, more drugs. And if you just watch it in passing the first time, you're like, yeah, whatever, the guy wants drugs. But then the more times you watch it, the more you're like,
It's like this guy.
they really wanted to make sure everyone
Yeah.
knows
Oh,
that Squirrel's taking too many drugs.
I don't know if I'm with you on that, actually. I only know one time when he gets a pill off Johnny Depp. Is it multiple, or is it just that one?
He does drugs, but he's like, Johnny Depp tells him at one point in that scene, hey, nah, man. And then
Oh,
Squirrel
fuck.
pesters him again, and
Oh,
Johnny Depp
true.
gives him some drugs.
Ah. Well, fuck.
It will always be funny to me they sing Santeria by Sublime, and it will also always be funny to me that there are people on the left-hand side of the screen
Oh, man.
still
I
at the
saw-
party.
I finally saw them. I think that might be the first time I've seen them. You've told me about it a number of times. And it's a man and a woman.
Yeah.
How about that? A real success for gender diversity in the film. The 2 people on the other side of them, a man and a woman. And a barbecue now. Love that. I wish we had seen them barbecuing.
Yeah, I don't know that they use the barbecue. I think it's more of just a party
We
prop.
never see it. It is a party
Our
prop.
department were like, we'll put a barbecue in there. And then Maximum Joseph and Megan Oppenheimer would have been like, but we haven't seen them barbecuing. And the art department would have been like, yeah, but we already spent the money on the barbecue.
It's like, do we need to have the same conversation? Just because we don't see the penis going to the vagina doesn't mean they haven't had sex. If we see a barbecue, the insinuation is they have grilled, okay? Hey, he's got a bullet necklace. I've never seen that before.
Of course he fucking does. Next to a tattoo of a male lion.
Well, that's what I've been looking at every other time. I've never noticed the necklace he's got as
What
a
they're
bullet.
trying to very subtly establish is that Jarhead is an alpha male.
All right, I've finally got a piss. It's happened.
I'm amazed it took this long, to be honest. As long as we've been watching the movie, which is roughly an hour at this point, I guess. And Squirrel is wearing, as if not to emphasize the fact he might like drugs enough, board shorts that are covered in marijuana leaves and a cosmic sweatshirt that shows sort of a ripple in the galaxy. Anyway, the boys generally, week in, week out, do a pretty good job of freaking out and reacting to the fact that their friend is overdosed on drugs. I actually don't mind this part. It's when they cut to the funeral, which it becomes, I think, cloying. I would like to see them sit in the shit for a bit longer. I don't think that happens enough. They've kind of got their shit together by the time they're at the funeral. But in the immediate aftermath of Squirrel, a character that we're meant to have enjoyed and got along with and rooted for throughout the film, a sort of a central, focal point, I guess, in terms of Zaccoli's relationship to the real world, is dead at their hands, as we've emphasized before. And they just go to the funeral and get on with it. It's not enough. But hey, what would I know about making a movie? Not much.
Oh, I'll tell you the funny thing about this room. The funny thing about this room is that there's no air circulation and it doesn't smell as good as outside smells. That's for sure.
Outside generally doesn't smell.
Oh, it depends what outside you're dealing with. If you're at the farm, it sure as hell does.
Outside
Tell
here,
you that,
though,
mate. Fair dinkum. Bloody cows and sheep everywhere.
You're one of the least rural people I know.
I know, and it pains me. Oh, that's not my beer. Where is it?
What's that?
Another different. Where did I put my beer? Oh fuck! There it is. Oh.
Get it together, Timbo.
Christ. Jesus on a popsicle stick.
I've got to say,
Okay.
the fact that Paige does send a text there, obviously it serves the character well, but that's a bad guy move. You got to do more than a text. He's one of your. He's a former employee. Like, you should know him personally.
Employer. Oh, sorry. The guy who
Yeah.
died is. Yeah, I got you.
You don't just text one of the other guys.
What is the appropriate way to deal with, close friends of someone you employed dying, who you also employ?
I think who you also employ, it's probably, to
Send around a group email.
No,
Say, look, it brings me, it is with an incredibly heavy heart that I have to let the rest of the office know that one of the Gold Star Realty Solutions team passed away over the weekend. This is a time for mourning. We would like to extend our, what do you call it? Condolences to his friends and family. And what else do you say?
you say, you just say, look, I'm really sorry this happened. You go to the funeral. You don't just send a text to one of your other employees being like, hey, I'm sorry that person died. That's just not what you do. And also, fuck these guys. I don't even care that they're fighting. You should be fighting. You're both baddies. If you have two, I don't know, baddies would get along. So my goodies should get along, right?
Wait, what?
Well, the idea
one
of
goodie,
it,
one baddie.
well, like if there are two baddies, in my head I'm like, of course two baddies wouldn't get along because they're baddies, so they wouldn't like each other. But then I was like, but if they're both baddies, they could be baddies in the same way, and therefore they would get along. In the same way, two goodies wouldn't.
Two goodies will get along.
Not always.
A goodie and a baddie won't get along. But wait a minute, what two goodies don't get along?
It's just possible.
Oh, Captain America and Iron Man.
Do they not get along?
No, that's the whole plot of Civil War.
Yeah. Well, you got to put something in your movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's reductive of me to think that all baddies get along. Of course they don't all get along.
They've all got their individual agendas. Often that's what makes them a baddie in the first place, their individualism. Which makes it so interesting that we laud capitalism so much.
What I like in comic books is when the baddie starts off with good intentions.
It's always the best, isn't it?
I'm always like, oh, you got me again.
I can't even think of a good example of that.
You got me again with the twists and turns.
Apparently in The Watchmen, the baddie in that is like, sort of good intentions gone awry. I don't know. It's all... Magneto... We don't need to get into this. Look, the film's still going. Where we are now...
Here's something I'd like to say.
Yes.
Aside from the detail.
Hold on. Let me paint a picture before you get into that. We're at a point in the film where Zac Efron has cheated on James Reed's girlfriend, gotten the shit kicked out of him by James Reed, and is now returned to James Reed's pad to apologise to him, while James Reed wears a heavy knit.
And also confessed that his friend Squirrel has died.
Yes.
So he's sort of looking for guidance beyond professional, but sort of just like support some place.
Yeah, you were going to say something.
What I've always wanted to know is the name of the song that plays in this scene, because it's not in the OST.
Is it not?
No. It's not on the track. It's not
playing right
track
now,
listed anywhere. No.
Oh, it is.
It's kind of like.
It is. Real quietly, it is still playing.
It's quite somber.
It's almost Nick Cavey, but it's slightly more upbeat. Or just less morose.
That line's always shat me. Where they always serve fair trade organic. It's lazy writing.
Yeah, it really is.
They haven't even done anything with the thing. They've just
said
a thing.
That is a line that juts out, and you're like, that's a real. We'll punch it up later one, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man! You can really notice those.
A vegan cafe where they only serve fair trade organic. There's huge problems. Stuff missing all over.
There is, because.
Tell us what.
Okay, let's do it. Let's dig into this. So what's the line of dialogue? She's at a...
She's living in North Hollywood. Is that even a real place?
She's at a cafe that only serves fair trade organic.
Cafe that only serves...
She's at a vegan cafe that only serves fair trade organic. Now, first of all, you've given me a number of adjectives on what they serve, but not the noun. And people in real life don't fucking talk like that, do they?
Nah, man.
Maybe it's because we're not in America. Maybe that is how they talk in California.
Well, it doesn't sound very Cali-fun to me. I'll be having Cali-no fun. If that's the way everyone speaks in California. Which in my experience it isn't.
It's not a Maladu, that is a Maladota.
Correct, Amundo. One thing that they do provide Zaccoli with pretty steadily throughout this film is a good supply of weed. And they don't suggest whether or not it serves him well or badly. I mean, in the sense that nothing goes wrong for him really in the movie, I guess it serves him well. But they're sort of always plying him with that.
With weed?
Yeah, in his dark moments, I think he's always turning to weed.
It's because it's in California, man. They want to cash in on that cool.
They want to get money from the big weed lobby.
No, they just want they want the film to appear cool, so people will go and see it. And how do you do that? By something slightly naughty, but kind of legal now, which is weed in California. We got to bring back that dog ain't gonna hunt. I've been trying to find a way to shoehorn it in for the last 45 seconds, and it just hasn't happened for me. But it was a great saying.
Well, okay,
we got to bring it back
to watch this movie with the idea that chemistry will eventually surface between Zaisfron and Somali. Let me tell you this, Tim. That dog ain't gonna hunt.
To persist with this film into its 46th outing and expect a different outcome, i.e. a better film than the one you got last time, tell you one thing for free, folks, that dog ain't gonna hunt.
I tell you what, though, you will watch it try and hunt week in, week out, because if you don't...
You're not fulfilling the promise of the premise, and that is paramount, as I've always said.
You have always said that. Fuck, man. Who runs with those big, chunky headphones?
Fucking no one. It destroys the suspended
Also, who puts their, like, if you're wearing these sort of lightweight shorts and you put your phone in your pocket, it's going to bounce around. It's going to be a real freaking nightmare. Hold it in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care about the aesthetics of the film. I want to see a true-to-life representation of what it's like to go for a run with a phone and headphones. And I got to tell you, having chunky-ass fucking earmuffs hanging around your neck while you run around in the heat, that ain't accurate. You got little earbuds in. If your phone dies, you pull them out, you wrap it up, you hold it in your hand. You don't put your phone in your pocket and your headphones around your neck. That is the least effective use of space I can imagine. At worst, you would hold your headphones in one hand, your phone in the other, and deal with the cord in front of you. Maybe bunch it up in one hand. Never what is represented in this film.
The crazy thing is as well, is I could be wrong here, but okay. Pioneer have thrown some money at this film to get the Pioneer DJ Fest in there. The headphones he's wearing, if I'm not very much mistaken, are Sony's. And I even think I know the model number. MDR 700s. They've been around for fucking donkeys. They're cool headphones. But maybe that's why he has stickers everywhere to protect the branding.
That is not a bad theory. I've had a pair of Sony headphones which look similar to those.
I think... Oh, maybe they're not the ones I was thinking of, actually. Now I'm looking at them. This film helpfully provided me with some very close-up headphone shots.
It's entirely possible he has a pair of DJing headphones and a pair of running headphones.
And they're both like some real munched-up Sonys to me.
Equally needlessly chunky.
I don't even know if Pioneer make headphones.
The idea that we trust Zac Efron's character, Zaccoli, to make a high-quality song at this point in the movie, beyond the fact that he has to because he's about to play a big DJing gig, is ridiculous. I have absolutely no confidence in his ability to make music.
Off in the last hour?
No.
Crazy.
What is your concept of time?
I have no right idea. No earthly idea.
You're not far off.
Cool.
But
Dutch angle on that. Do you reckon that was intentional? So the shot that we're seeing is Zac Efron running in the mid-ground. We're quite a distance away from him, and in the background's kind of like power lines and fields and shit. But like it's on a very jaunty angle, and I don't think they intended that. I think they just fucked up the shot, and then we're like, well, that's what we got. So that's what's going in the movie. Who gives a shit about our constant ramblings?
Not me.
Why is anyone still here, you know?
Easy on, boy. Give yourself some credit.
We've been in this room for 4 hours.
Oh, no, not quite. 3 hours? I don't know. 1.5 hours? How long's this movie? I think about 1.5 hours.
I think this is hour 4 that we're heading up to.
You okay? You sick at the thought of it?
Intensely.
That's okay. Look, at this point in the movie, you're meant to be excited for the opportunity. But to be excited for the opportunity, you have to care about it. And I don't know if I've re-emphasized this point enough throughout this watch of the movie, but that's something that's very difficult to do at this point in time. Also, at these moments in the movie when Zaccoli's meant to act overwhelmed by meeting people, extras, or cameo appearances or whatever.
They're definitely cameos, and we just are not cool enough to know who these people are.
But what I really like is the idea that everyone's more likely to be like, holy shit, that's Zac Efron. But that's acting for you. People pretending to have different feelings from what they have in real life.
Do you reckon Wes Bentley would make a good Wolverine?
Certainly a relative of Wolverine.
Sabretooth?
Is that a real character? Who is related to Wolverine?
Yeah.
In the way that
a
saber-toothed tiger and a wolf are from the same genus or something.
You got it. You got it, boy.
Are all people related?
Yeah, dude. You just got to go far enough back.
Hey, man, that's beautiful stuff. Dude, preach it, man. That's the truth, baby. Hey, man. Hey, come on, baby.
I like this character.
Look me in the eyes.
Vaguely jazz man.
I fucking love you, brother.
All right.
No worries, dude.
All right.
I'm open to you. I'm open for you.
Oh no, not
24/7.
I've met this dude.
Walk through the door. Come on in. Have a look around.
I've met this gentleman before.
Make yourself at home.
Uh-oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Put your head on the coat, and then put your coat on the hook, and then take off the rest of your clothes. I want to see you naked.
Exactly right. 10 times out of 10. I want to see your stuff jangling around. Do I make myself clear?
Perfectly.
Yeah, crystal.
It doesn't mean I'm going to do it. It just means that I comprehend what you're saying.
Old crystal nuts.
P.S. Crystal nuts. That's a good name for a stripper or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my stripper name.
Crystal nuts.
And in the red corner, my stripper / boxing name. That's my stripper character. It's a boxer. I'm not allowed. Frustratingly, it's a very specialized talent that I'm not
Do you
allowed
know,
to practice
hypothetically,
anywhere.
do you know what would be tough? The thought of having to watch this movie a third time in a row after this. Hypothetically, which of course we won't do, but that
is a crazy idea to me.
you know,
And I would like to articulate to you more clearly the problem with my very specialized style of stripping. Is that
this light is harsh.
to box,
The movie's harsh.
I must strip. And to strip, I must box. And I'm allowed to do neither of those things at the other's place of practice. My true passion cannot be satisfied.
It's so weird you bring that up because I just this morning was on YouTube. Ever heard of it? It's a
No,
website.
I haven't.
And there
What
was,
happens on YouTube?
Well, there was a video they put together of all Adam West's moments on Family Guy because he passed away last month, I think. And one of them was there's like a skit where Mayor West, the mayor of Quahog,
Mayor West. Mayor West.
that made the cut. That one made the cut. He comes. There's some He comes back. He's talking to Peter or Lois or something. He's like, something about that dry cleaner's not open right now, and Peter or whoever says there's no dry cleaners. It's a dance club. And he says, oh, that explains a lot. And then it cuts to him and his dry cleaners just fucking like rocking out. And then the phone goes. He goes, I love this song. Such a simple gag, but it's really well executed.
Man.
His voice was really tremendous, huh?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of didn't realize, but you watch all those Family Guy clips, you're like, Adam West had an amazing timbre.
Yeah.
God, what a cool
Unlike any
fucking
other.
voice.
Really cool.
So cool.
I can't believe the hubris.
I don't think there's anything cooler than a cool voice. Don't you think?
I
I fucking love a cool voice.
Who else do you think has a cool voice?
So, like a lot of old British, like Jeremy Irons and Tim Curry, those
Yeah.
dudes, like, oh my God, unbeatable.
Classic voices.
Even to an extent, like your Rowan Atkinsons and your
I think
John Cleese's.
You like those voices.
I like the Brits.
And fair cop to you, as the Brits would say.
We're coming to the conclusion of the movie,
Yeah.
and I feel like I should be happier than what I
No,
am.
it's okay.
This is a director's commentary after all, and we've veered wildly off course.
No, I think we did our job. I'd like to say this. I still cannot believe that Zac Efron's character, Cole Carter, would think that him playing a recording of his friend, who just passed away, of a pretty banal conversation, and obviously he feels the gravity of it because he knows that his friend recently passed away, but the audience have no context for this. He's just playing them snippets of his shit fucking chat with his mates.
Not wrong.
And the idea that everyone's going off.
It's bullshit, man. It's unbelievable. Hey, I'll tell you one thing, though. I forgot he had a last name, and in light of the fact that it's Cole Carter, do you reckon that's a reference to The Nanny? Because there was that character, Cece Babcock.
Yeah, I reckon Maximum Joseph and Megan Oppenheimer were definitely tipping their hats towards...
To Fran Dresser.
Yeah.
And whoever that British guy was. And Niles.
Whoever that also British guy was? Or was he American?
Something's ringing, and I don't know what, because I thought I turned everything to flight mode. It doesn't matter, though, because we can't... Oh, is that your thing?
Yeah, it's the timer,
I got
baby.
it!
You did good, kid.
Thanks, buddy. All right. Well, we're just documenting the journey, folks, because we're at the end again. This is the end. That's not the track.
My only friend, the end. All right, Zach, we get it.
A lot of Doors making... The Doors making some big, bold appearances at Tim and Guy's podcast Emporium this week.
I watched that Dustin Hoffman movie, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Didn't mind it.
Good on you.
I like Dustin Hoffman. I like his energy. I'd like to get a meal with him sometime. Why do you always get multiple options? Trust the process.
Because I'm not using the selfie cam, I'm using the main camera. It might not be framed up right the first time. Was that a great comedy answer for you, Guy? Aren't you so glad you asked?
It was an all-time classic.
Honestly, though, that flash has blinded me and I can barely see what I'm doing on my phone. It's intense.
For someone to love. They have no, apart from their physical chemistry shown when they're at the music festival in Las Vegas, these guys have nothing to suggest that this relationship will go the distance.
Someone to love. This song is a fucking banger, eh? This one's a good track.
I could be someone. I gotta say,
and that's the title's come up. It says, "We
un-
Are Your Friends." It says, directed by Max Joseph.
Unconvincing display from Max Joseph, Megan Oppenheimer, et al. This week.
That's all you, baby. That image. This has been a real journey. This director's commentary has been anything but a director's commentary, and I am almost apologetic for that, but not. Because for us to sit through another watch of this in our current circumstances at this point, I think is borderline fucking heroic, you know? We always shirk that title when the good people who listen throw it at us. But I'm not going to shirk it anymore. I'm a fucking hero and you're a hero and we're heroes in this together. Watching a movie.
I like where your head's at. Champion us. Did you text that to me?
No, I sent it through the wonders of email.
Classic.
So it had full fidelity. Fun fact, everybody, if you send an image through Facebook, it'll lose some of its quality.
That is neither fun, but also a fact. Is it? Probably a fact.
Who's to say? Credit sequences. I love that. Zac Efron just on drugs at the party, nodding his head
Ding
left
dong.
to right.
Here's an interesting fact about this. I can't remember where, I think I read it online. I read it online somewhere that it's not actually, in the original edit, it's not actually cash in that box. It was a dog turd. But
holy shit.
You don't get to see the in the edit. You
Where'd
don't get to
you
see
hear
her
that?
reaction.
Where'd you hear that?
I can't remember.
That's crazy, mate. Maybe some interview. Maybe it was the same way that we found out how Squirrel went to college. Because it's not referenced. I know that we've probably picked over the bones of that a little bit before, but the necessity for you to watch
over the bones of it.
The necessity for you to watch junket interviews to understand the plot of a movie is in some ways quite avant-garde. and almost not the head, but
no,
of our time.
It's a credit to driving people to online. You know,
Yeah.
that's what the people
It's
want.
like, if you want to see the movie, see it. If you want to get the movie, watch all of the associated materials we've put out. There is a website. There is a Twitter account. There's an Instagram. There are several interviews with the E! Channel where we drop very essential plot points for you
movies
to understand
are like
the movie
jigsaw puzzles. I didn't get an email from you for what it's worth.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
I don't want you to have to
worry
drag
about
this
it.
onto the bloody potty. That's not what we want at all. We
It's
want
okay.
all of our admin to be done invisibly.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. I gotta tell you this. I'm gonna take a wheeze.
Oh, well, now we're in awkward zone, aren't we?
Oh, actually, I'll wait for you to do
me
your
do
job,
this.
then I'll do my job,
Let me
and
get the
then we
image
can
over
both
to
be free of the burden of watching this movie.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know the words, and I'm mic'd up. It's the most embarrassing circumstances.
It's about as bad as anything can go.
Absolutely. Oh, I tell you what, now that I've got my email open, there is so many emails from people wanting to get in touch with us. Isn't that charming?
Very much so.
Hold on. I want to... Oh, it says I'm not online. That'll do it. Guys got to piss, everybody. Really, we need to sort this out.
No, it's okay. It's not an urgent matter at all.
It's urgent to me, baby. We got a good credits roll going on at the moment. A lot of names
Do you want me to
up
do
there.
some shout outs, Tim?
That'd be good.
Hey, I got to say to Alex in the Kitchen Incorporated, I heard some horror stories about what happened on set, but shout out to you guys for doing your best with what you had. And that's all anyone can do in this world. To the transportation captain / coordinator, Jared Robbins, man, you got to learn about Google Maps, because I got to tell you, going analog was a real fucking hindrance to the entire production process. I mean, I respect the idea that you know your way around the state, but Frankly,
just before you go to exit your bladder, just give me a confirmation that the technology's holding out.
man, I got an email from my friend Tim Beck.
That's great. Okay, that's tremendous. You go sort that out. So, everybody, you're back in the capable hands of one Timbly Spindly Wimbly. Hey, I love this. Remixed and additional production by Tiger and Woods. That's funny. That's on one of the tracks, which is called Need Your Lovin'. It's the Tiger and Woods remix. Hey, shut that door. Moths get in. It's nighttime now. It's just me yelling at Guy, everybody. You don't need to be too concerned about that. Lot of tracks being used in this film, and I do understand that this was a pretty low budget movie. I think it was less than $10 million, and fucking Shutterstock is actually shouted out in the bit called archival footage provided by, and Getty Images. Oh my god, this is a stock footage film. I thought that director and writer's commentary was just a goof, but it turns out it fucking wasn't. Anyway, my point is, I've forgotten what the point was. It's gone. But I'll tell you one thing for free. We're doing the movie again.